Hey everyone, it's Chris here from Everyday Survival Gear, and today I'm bringing you a well-lit shed. No, but seriously, I'm bringing you an Australian headlamp. Well, probably made in China, but an Australian company headlamp that cost me $5, so $5 Australian, and I'm actually pretty happy about it. Like, it's not gonna win Headlamp War of the Year, but it is actually pretty cool. So for $5, I was cruising the shops. I was cruising the shops. Bunnings, it's like the biggest hardware chain here in Australia. And I came across this headlamp and it said $5. Arlec branded. It looked very basic, but it was a unique design, as in it uses a cob LED instead of a normal style LED. 3 modes. It even came with 3 AAA batteries. So I figured, why not buy it and we'll tear it apart and we'll see what $5 here in Australia can buy us. So last time I spent about $5 here in Australia, I got like a 5mm LED light, which was an absolute piece of rubbish. So this is quite an upgrade. So we'll pull it apart and see how it does. Alright guys, so here it is, the piece de la resistance, the $5 Australian headlamp. It is a generic design and whatnot. You can probably get these on eBay. I've seen them on other websites where you can buy them. It is raining outside right now, so you probably will hear the rain quite loud because this is all tin. First of all, we'll start off with the headband. The headband is actually quite comfy, but it is fairly small. That's my one issue, but I do probably have a bit of a fat head, so that is to be expected. It does feel good. Even when I'm not wearing my hat, it still feels fine. It is adjustable on the side and at the top, but unlike better brand headlamps, so if you buy a Nightcore, it'll have kind of a connection here at the back where they all join. This is just simply looped and then sewn on, so like so. So you can still take off the top headband if you wanted to. You just got to undo the sides and then roll it off the edge. One thing that I do like is how it is connected. So you got the front part here. This is all plastic. There is a bit of rubber or foam inside here to protect your head. That is crooked, doesn't really matter. It still works as it should. So basically it's a headlamp that it can be moved up and down like so. I really like the detent in the movement up and down. So we'll listen to it. Sounds very solid, right? So it's very sturdy, so like we'll leave it there and like I'll wiggle it around and it takes quite a bit of force to move it up and down, which is great. It does run on 3 AAAs, which I think I've already told you. The AAAs are connected very simply. It pops off. So there's a little tab here. Not the best design there, considering you've only got such a small bit of plastic on this side which holds it down. But for $5, it doesn't really matter. So you got to kind of flick that under and then push the other side down like so. And then there we have it. Button here, so it's got on off. It's supposed to be IP44 rated, so I guess that's probably like splash resistant at best, which I could say it probably is. You probably could wet it and it would be okay. So we've got 3 modes. It actually came with no instructions, but the packet reckons it was 100 lumens on high mode, and it didn't say the other modes for the other lumen output for the other modes. So if we go high, there's no PWM. Low mode, there's a little bit of PWM. You can slightly see it, and obviously strobe. Strobe is just PWM really, and that's about it. So overall, like, build quality isn't great, but then it isn't bad. It's all plastic. It doesn't have a glass lens, so the lens is like Perspex, or if not Perspex, it's some sort of polycarbonate, or I don't think it will be acrylic. So it's probably like a polycarbonate lens. So you can see they're fairly easy to scratch. This one's already fairly well scratched. We'll pull it apart and we'll have a look at the internals and see how it works. Alright, so before we go any further, let me just say I'm actually pretty happy with this purchase because I can use this. So for $5 to get a torch that I can actually use, like it's pretty good because headlamps don't have to be super bright anyway. So that's always a bonus. And plus, you know, headlamps are usually used for more close-up work. So yeah, to pull it apart, we got to take off this bit of plastic here, which covers 2 screws. So you can see 2 self-tapping screws here. Nothing too spectacular there. I can't see the screws. I had that one at the start anyway. This looks like it could get stuck in there. Gotta be careful with that one. Might need a little bit more unscrewing. Self-tapping, so you know you don't want to do this 100 times, and I've already undone this now like 3 times, so it's probably starting to wear it out a little bit. Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit stuck, but that's my fault for undoing it so many times. There we go, that's out now. Easy. Alright, so the lens, like whether it be plastic or polycarbonate is plastic, I can't see any markings on it anyway, but that's fine. So it is frosted at the side here, and then you know it does have some sort of like warpage to it. So if we have a look, you can see how it's kind of like magnified or shaped in some sort of way. That could be because it's curved too. That'll help muffle up the light a bit, so that'll give you probably less output overall, but it'll make the light a lot easier on your eyes, and yeah, it'll kind of change the beam pattern. Because it's using a cob LED, I don't think it's really necessary to change the beam pattern, but that's what they wanted to go with, so that's fine. The reflector is plastic. Oops, I just turned it on there. Sorry guys. So the reflector is plastic. This is all kind of press fit down onto each other, so you know you can see at on the side of the reflector there. Focus. On the side of the reflector here, there's 2 little bumps that come out here. That just holds the LED to the driver board, which then holds it to the actual torch itself at the back here. You can see. Actually, that's where the screws go. It just holds it down. One other thing to note, IP44, which is okay, but there is no O-rings on here. But this lens does go pretty far inside, so that's okay. Alright, so this is the LED here. Cob style LED. Nothing too spectacular there. Hooked up to the driver board here. Very simple driver. So we can see it's got a FET there, transistor. That'll be, I guess that'll be the memory chip, and a few resistors on the board, and that's pretty much it. So we can still turn it on now because it's electronic switch style. So the back of the board isn't populated. The button is built into the driver itself, which sits up against the hole here. So you know it's got a rubber boot here. The rubber boot is kind of shaped to keep out water, I guess, in a sense. That's the rubber boot there. I might put the camera up a little bit so it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. So the rubber boot is kind of like shaped to keep out water. Not the best quality, but it's okay. A little bit's broken there, it doesn't really matter. And then you can see it's connected to the battery terminal through these negative and positive wires. So very simple design, nothing too spectacular, but for $5 it's okay. I wouldn't mind to try and get a little bit more power out of this. I think maybe by changing the LED cords we could maybe get a little bit more power out of it. Apparently that transistor, the FET, is only good for about 350 milliamps, but at high voltage, at like 40 volts, 30 volts or something, when I searched on Google for the number. So I'll leave the number, what I got off the transistor and what I got off the controller chip in the video. I'll write it down so you guys can check it out if you want to have a look. You know, we probably could bridge these just with solder, or put a different sort of resistance on there, and we could get extra power out of there. But you can see the LED isn't actually mounted to anything. The LED itself, it is on a alloy board, and the board is fairly thick and fairly long, but then it's not mounted to anything else that's metal. So it's simply just mounted to here, to the driver, like so. So there's nothing there to keep it cool. So I'll put this back together, and then we'll take it outside and we'll see how it lights up the yard. Alright guys, so this is the headlamp being used on its highest mode. They say 100 lumens. It probably is that, maybe even a little bit more. It lights up my backyard like okay. You can kind of see to the very end. It's not fresh batteries in here, and they're only alkaline, so it is what it is. It's not going to be the brightest right now, but you can see it is lighting up the backyard. It does an okay job. So obviously, you know, if I was to put my hands in front, there's my hands there, more than enough light to work on in front if I'm fishing or hunting or camping, or even if I'm working on electronics. I'll move over to the tree and I'll show you there. Alright guys, so now I'm in the front yard. You don't usually see this tree because it's in the front yard, so I don't usually record out here, but it is actually pretty bright and colourful. Yeah, I'm behind the camera too, to be honest, about 3-4 meters away, so you can see it does a pretty good job, even to the fence there. That fence is even further away. You can even see the little spider there, can make that out. This is another tree that's in the front yard, so you know, you can see that whole tree. So it does light it up pretty good actually, and it's lighting up like such a wide area. Like you can go all the way over there, you can see the bin is lit up all the way to the tree. Even I'm standing straight on looking at this tree, which is great. It's a very floody beam, which is what you want in a headlamp really. Alright guys, so last not least, we'll stand from the lemon tree. We'll go back a little bit just so you guys can see. So you can see now, even on the camera, we're pretty far back here. And it does an alright job of lighting it up. Even the shed, you can see the shed gets lit up pretty well. So yeah, that's pretty much it I guess. So this is what $5 in Australia can get you, if you can find one. It's not bad output for a headlamp, it's actually pretty good. The beam pattern isn't too bad, it's not the greatest, but it's not too bad. The tint is pretty cold white, but it does work. You know, you can see on the camera that nothing is too washed out because it is a fairly low mode, so the output isn't the best, so it doesn't really do a too bad job at washing stuff out, so that's always good too. Yeah, so you know, it was a good find and I'm pretty happy with it. I'll probably use it to work on electronics with too. Alright guys, this has been Chris from Everyday Survival Gear, bringing you a $5 flashlight. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.